We know that you have a dream lover, and you have a dream house, and you have a dream car, and you have dream behavior of your children, and you have all of these things that you've been dreaming about. And we want you to know they can be realities, but you've got to believe them before they can be realities. And if you keep practicing the drum of complaining about your children's behavior, or complaining about your financial experience right now, or complaining about your body weight or your body condition, if you're complaining about anything, you're practicing a vibration that does not allow you to achieve the frequency that you must achieve before what you want, which is at that high frequency, can flow into your experience. And what's flowing in is always a match to where you are. This vortex that the source within you is tending to is a very high frequency vortex where everything that you want is. But you've got vibrational realities all over the place. Every time you worried, every time you complained, there are all kinds of things that can manifest in your experience. You just get to choose. And don't you know? Don't you say, well, I saw that coming. I saw that coming. I could feel that was coming. It's because you've been hanging out in a frequency that allowed it to come. And even before it got there, you sensed it. So we just explained to you everything that you will ever need to know to be the powerful, deliberate creator of your own reality. And when you get hold of that, it is so much fun. Maintain that high frequency for a while. And then new ideas begin to flow to you from that high frequency. Questions still come, but you're in a place where the question doesn't knock your legs out from under you, or the problem doesn't knock your legs out from under you. It's just a clarifying point that helps you to continue to expand. We just want you to know that the more time you spend speaking of what you want. Esther's been doing focus wheels, a lot of focus wheels. She finds them empowering. You know what a focus wheel is? It's where you pick a topic that you want to improve your frequency on, and then you say things that you already believe that are not off frequency until you've just practiced the frequency of being on about this topic until you sort of own it. And what she's discovered is she can make a statement that feels on, but she knows it could be honor. It could be more on than it is, because there's just a little smidgen sometimes of defensiveness or justification that has been practiced for a long time. In other words, you can work the bugs out of your vibrational resistance, and anything that you want that is not flowing easily into your experience is for one reason. You've got resistance that you want to work the bugs out of. The question is, what's the easiest way to work the bugs out of it? Well, if you could just take a nap and wake up and 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 then sleep through the night and then wake up and then take a nap and wake up and take a nap and wake up and take a nap and wake up, you could get there pretty fast. But you've got this reality that you believe that you have to live, responsibilities, employers, children, mates. And so you can't just withdraw and then wake up and try again. We know you are facing reality. And we know sometimes it smacks you right in the face, knocks you off your disc. We know that. But you have the ability to do better than you're doing, and that's what this sales job is about right now. We want to get you to at least acknowledge that you are a thinking person and you do have the ability to control your thoughts. And yes, it's easier to control them once the momentum is really going. In other words, sometimes people say, oh, Abraham, it's like my thoughts are thinking me. And we say, wouldn't it be nice for you to be in such a high frequency that those are the thoughts that are thinking you? That Source is thinking with you and through you? Because there's something you got to know about Source. Source knows everything that you want and where it is in relationship to where you stand, and will guide you down the path of least resistance to it. Not because when you get there you're going to be so happy. You will, but that's not why. It's because the path of least resistance is a joyful way to live. The path of least resistance on your way to who you really are. That's what you came for, you see. The thing that is most important about this conversation is that you speak often about things that you want that you already believe. We're not asking you to make statements that you don't believe. That'll just throw you off in the bushes. And there's no value in that. You'll never get better at that. But if you can slow it down enough that you make statements that you believe, and you can focus on those statements that you believe and not introduce resistant thought to them, then those thoughts, because law of attraction is responding to them, those thoughts will gain momentum. And when a thought gains momentum, hear this, we're defining something for you. When a vibration of a thought gains momentum, it becomes more powerful, and that's when manifestations begin to occur to you. So if you just take some simple thought that you believe and don't mess it up by trying to make it more complicated than it needs to be, or by trying to change the way you feel about something. If you just take a simple thought that you already believe that matches what you want to know, that thought in and of itself will become bigger. What about that? Isn't that just amazing to know? All that effort that you've been offering from a place of trying to overcome something, no wonder you get tired, because you're bucking your own current. But when you take a thought that doesn't have resistance in it and you just allow it to sit within you, that's why meditation works. That's why there's such power in meditation. When you quiet your mind, you stop thought. And when you stop thought, you stop resistance. And in the absence of resistance, only resistant-free thought will flow to you. That's why you start feeling. That's why emotions start manifesting within you. That's why you start feeling movement. In the absence of resistant thought, all things are possible, you see. So then the big argument that most humans have had about that is, I don't want to stop thinking. I want to be a thinker. We want you to be a thinker too, but we want you to get on your high-flying disc before you think. We want you to get into the vortex before you think. We want you to prepare your vibrational atmosphere. We want you to set yourself up for the thoughts that feel good when they come. We want you to be your own thinker. We want you to think about all kinds of things, but first and foremost, we want the thought that you think to feel good when you think it, period. Some time ago, we offered a focus wheel. The idea of the focus wheel was you make a statement of something that you want and you write it in the center of the wheel. And then you make statements and you write them around the outside of the wheel. But the statements that you make aren't to try to believe what's in the center of the wheel. They are statements sort of kind of about what's in the center of the wheel that you already believe. And the analogy that we offered is like the merry-go-round on the playground. Esther had one at the grade school when she was growing up. And she and her friends played on it all summer long. And they noticed that if they got on the wheel and the wheel was going really fast, and then someone tried to get on, they rarely could. Bounced them right off in the bushes. The momentum of the wheel was such that they couldn't get on. But if the wheel was slow enough, they could get on and then speed it up. And then they had such fun with the faster and faster and faster momentum. This is really what we're talking about here. You want to slow the thought down enough that you can get on and then speed it up. We want you to feel this emotional place that you are standing. If you wake up and you get focused upon something and you feel grouchy and ornery, you're on this ornery disc, so to speak. And when you're there, you've just got to notice that anybody in your vicinity who's ornery seems to hop on there with you. We hear you sometimes saying to others, you know, you're really ornery. You need to get away from me. And we say, you invited them in. No, I didn't. I really didn't, Abraham. I'm certain that I did not invite that in. And we said, if it's in, you invited it. Because there is no assertion in this universe that's based upon attraction. When you say yes to something, you include something wanted in your vibration. When you say no to something, you include something unwanted in your vibration. You're doing it all. And you can do it better than you have been doing if you understand the power of the law of attraction, and if you understand momentum. If you will begin to focus upon the thoughts that feel good in their early stages and stay with them until the momentum is greater, you will benefit by that increase in momentum. If you are aware of something that doesn't feel good when you focus upon it, and as soon as you're aware that it doesn't feel good, you will withdraw your attention from it and put your attention someplace else, the momentum of that will stop. It is our absolute promise to you that it will. But don't wait until you're at the bottom of the hill to try to stop the momentum. Sometimes it's like you say, Abraham, I've fallen out of an airplane and I don't have a parachute on. What do you suggest that I do now? And we say, hang on, it'll be over in a little bit. And that's what we want to say to you about all negative momentum. Do your best to just withdraw your attention from it. It will peter out if you don't keep feeding it. It will stop if you don't keep feeding it, you see. Which means tomorrow morning when you wake up, try to hold yourself in conscious thought about something that feels good for just a little while until you get a little bit of momentum going. That's your best shot at the positive momentum. Really, the easiest way to do it is just to make a decision that when you get up in the morning, you've got a clean slate, because you do. And you know why? Because while you were asleep, your momentum stopped. And when you wake up, you can start it anywhere you want to. Now, we acknowledge that it's likely when you first start this that you're probably going to start your momentum sort of the way it was yesterday, because you've got a memory, and because people around you are responding to you in the way they are, and because you're observing what is, and what is pretty powerful to observe. So we get it that if what is isn't full of all the things you want, or even more is containing some things you don't want, we get it how your attention to what is continuing the momentum. But you can change that. You can have a paradigm shift. You can move your vibrational point of attraction, and you can do it easily within 30 days. And every day that you wake up determined to do it will be easier than the day before, until a week or two into waking up and acknowledging, hey, I'm awake, and hey, law of attraction is beginning again, and hey, while I was slumbering, my point of attraction ceased, and hey, I get to choose what I focus upon, what would be a good thing for me to focus upon. Before long, you'll have a handful of things that you always feel good about when you think about them, that you will give your attention to, and before you know it, you will get that momentum going so that you will be on what we are calling your high-flying disc. Esther said, Abraham, as you're describing these discs, there's this one where love and elation and passion is, and there's that one when despair and fear is, and then there's the ornery disc. Esther said it's a little bit like the 7 dwarves. There's the happy disc, and there's the grumpy disc, and she's identified about 200 dwarfs now. Defensive dwarf and passive-aggressive dwarf. But we want you to not spend too much time trying to identify what to call your disc, and instead we want you to feel your way onto that high-flying disc where you belong. And when you do, when you figure out how to sustain that frequency for a day, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then another, what you're going to begin to notice is that the things that you've been asking for, that are already in a very high frequency in this vibrational reality, because the source within you has been tending to them, when you get your vibration up there and you sustain it, this is the important thing. You chronically hold it. You sustain it. You're consistent in that vibration. Not high-low, not happy-sad, not manic-depressive, not happy when there's something happy to look at and ornery when there's something ornery to look at, but holding your own vibration because you mean to, and more important, holding it because you've practiced it, and after a little while holding it because it's easy to do. Then what happens is the contents of your vibrational reality begin flowing into your reality. You begin realizing them. Thoughts begin to flow to you. Timing is really, really good. You begin rendezvousing with other people. And the details of your life begin filling in with the flesh, blood, and bone that you want, so that you can hear and see and smell and taste and touch all of these details that you have been wanting.